Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Val Fashion's YouTube channel. If this is your first time stopping on my channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button to subscribe and also make sure to put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you. So in this video, we're going to be learning how to make these beautiful drapes you see on the front hip line of the mannequin. And it's a crisscross draping. It is decorative and very simple to make. I hope this is something you're interested in learning. Kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so I'll be making use of this shiny crepe fabric to achieve my drapes, and it stretches towards one side more. You can see that this side is not stretching, so it's stretching more to this side. So you want to make sure that the length of your drape, you cut it towards this side so that it can stretch well and you achieve that flatness. And I have 1 yard of this fabric. So next I'm going to show us how to take our measurement to achieve the drape. So here I've gone ahead to pin the down part of the gown, which is the skirt part, on the mannequin. So you can actually achieve this on a flat surface like a table or the floor. But if you have a pinnable mannequin, it will be easier for you. Okay, so here on this side, you can see that I have a slanted shape, which is a basque shape, okay? And this is towards one side of the dart. So this basque shape is not in the middle, is one side of the dart. And this is the point where I want my twisted drape to intertwine. This is the point where I want them to meet. So next I'm going to take the measurement from this side to achieve the length of the drape. First I'll come down by 1 inch from the waistline here. So after that 1 inch, I'm going to measure a length of 8 inches. So this is where the first part of the drape will stop. So from 1 inch, I measured 8 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch this point. So having notched that point, so from the point I notched, I'm going to measure another 8 inches. So when the drape comes back, this is where it will also stop. So the total length I have here is 16 inches. So the total length of the drape here is going to be 16 inches. That's 8 plus 8. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side. I'll come down by 1 inch and measure my 8 inches and measure another 8 inches and notch it, which is what I have done already. So now we're going to go ahead and take the measurement up to this point where it will intertwine. So now from the first 8 inches I marked, I'm going to place my tape and measure up to this point where I have my slanted shape, okay? So now from that point to this point, I have 18 inches. So I'm just going to take back my tape. Can you see how I'm holding my tape back at the point there? And then I'm measuring to the side here. So to the side here, to the second notch, I have about 37 inches. So I'm going to be adding about 4 inches extra to this length. So I have about 30, almost 37.5. So I'm going to make this 42 inches. I can always trim out my excess. It is better to have excess than to have shortage. So I'm going to be cutting 42 inches for this particular length that I got 37 inches. So I'm going to repeat the same measurement here. So you can see from the side there, I measured, and to this point I have 10 inches. So you can see what I have here also to the down part of the second 8 inches notch. I have about 22 inches. So these 22 inches, I'll also make it extra. I'll cut it with extra 4 inches. So that will be 26 inches. So I've gone ahead to cut my fabric, and the length I have here, I have 18 inches in length, so which is a half yard, okay? So and these 18 inches, I went ahead to gather it to 9 inches. Remember that the notch we created, that's from the first notch to the second notch, was 8 inches. So I made it 9 inches so that I can fold half inch in and fold half inch in at the upper part. You want to close up the sides that are rough. So that when I'm done, I'll have my 8 inches. Okay, so can you see this part that is rough? I used a contrasting thread so that we can see what I did. So I gathered it to 9 inches. So this 9 inches, I'll fold half inch in. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm folding that half inch in. You don't want to leave that part out. Even though this fabric is not a fraying fabric, you want to make sure that you don't use a fraying fabric because you don't want to stitch this side. So we're going to use like needle and thread to cover it up. You don't want that side to be open, but this fabric is not fraying, so even if you leave it that way, it will still be okay. So I haven't pinned it to the first notch that I have here. I'm going to pin to the second notch. So I'll also tuck in the half inch here at the down part, just like this, and then I'll also pin it to the 8 inches notch that I have here. So you can see now that I will gather my fabric and make sure that it fits into the first 8 inches that I have here. So you just want to drag your gather so that everything just fits in. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Can you see? So once you have this gather thread, once you have done your gathers, it just makes it a lot easier for you. Can you see what's happening here now? So you can see how I'm just forming my drapes nicely. So you want to just arrange it well so that everything just comes out well. Okay, so I'll make sure to pin the sides well so that it just stays there firmly. Okay, so you can see now that I've come to this side where I have my basque. I'll come down by 5 inches from the waistline here. So, and this is the point where I'm going to pin this drape to. So can you see how my drape is gathered? I'm stretching it out very well. That's why I said use the stretchy part of the fabric so that you can drag it well and it will sit well. So, and I'm stretching it out well, making sure that everything is sitting all flat. You don't want it to be bulky around here so that it fits well. And then the more you stretch it, the more it drags on the body of the person. So it will be very, very firm on the body of the person. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure to pin this point very well before I take it back to the other 8 inches that I have there. So once I've done that, once I'm okay with the pins that I have there, so now I'm going to bring it to this other side. That's to bring it back to this side. So this side now, can you see what I'm doing? It's easy for me to drag it and pin it well because my fabric is stretchy. So you see, I'm just dragging and pinning very well. So I'm making sure that I video this part so that we can see it well. So it makes it a lot easier for you to understand what I'm doing. So now I'm going to take this back to the other side. Can you see how I'm just bringing it back? So that half inch I folded for the other part, I'll make sure to fold it also. Can see? I'll fold it and then I'll overlap it at the point where it ends at this other side. You don't want to just place it under it. You have to overlap it so that you don't see the one under. So it just looks as if they are one, right? So I pinned it there. And then I'll also fold half inch at the down part and then pin it at the notched point. So you want to make sure that the rough part you fold it under. You don't want to leave it. Like I said, my fabric is not the type that frays. You can already see it. So, but please just fold that half inch under like I'm doing. So here I'm going ahead to pin. So I'm just going to pin it to the notch that I have here. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and gather my fabric to the 8 inches there. So remember I said the width of my fabric is 18 inches. That's half yard, right? And I gathered it to 9 inches. So this is it. So you can see that now my excess has come out. So I gave it an excess of 4 inches. So you can see that I have more than 4 inches. So it's better for me that way. You can always just trim out your excess. I prefer to always cut with excess. I don't want to have any shortage at all. So you can see. So I'm just going to arrange this part very well. You can see how I'm dragging it. I'm really dragging it so that it can stay as firm as possible and even as flat as possible. You don't want this to be bulky. So once I'm done pinning, I'm going to bring in my scissors and cut out this part. Okay. So as you can see, I've cut out my excess fabric and this is what I have here on this side. So I went ahead to make sure to pin any part I noticed that is not sitting well. You can see how flat my drape is. It's sitting very nice, firm and flat. So I'm going to bring in the shorter fabric. I remember that I also have a length of 18 inches and I also gathered it to 9 inches, just like I did for the other side. So I will want to pin it to the other side. So to do that, I'm going to pass my fabric through this opening I have here. You want to be very careful so that you don't remove your pins. You just want to make sure you do this carefully here. So now I've passed it through. I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch. That's at the upper part where I have the start of the fabric. I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch just like I did for the other side. And this is me placing it 1 inch below the waistline. So I'm going to pin this point. Haven't done that, I'll get the second notch, that's the 8 inches notch. From that point, I'm going to I'm going to also fold in 1/2 inch like I did for the upper part. You want to make sure to tuck in the 1/2 inch there. So this is where I have my notch. You can see it. So I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch also. So I make sure that the gathers of my fabric fits into the 8 inches, just like I did for the other side. So can you see? So this is me just going ahead to pin the sides like this. So here we are. So once I'm done with that, you can see. So now I need to gather my drape. So I'm just going to remove it a little so you can see that, so that I can just gather the drapes properly. Can you see what I'm doing? And you can notice that I am dragging it already. So you just want to form your drapes well. Once you have these gathers, it just has a way of forming itself. You don't need to do too much. Okay. So now I'm going to pass it through it, making sure that the 1/2 inch I tucked in is well tucked in. You don't want that part to show at all. Okay. So I'm just going to gather it and you can see me bringing it back. Can you see what I'm doing? So this side is a lot easier because the other side is holding it already. Can you see that? So I'll go ahead and remove my gather thread later, but you can see that this one came to this side. That's why I had to remove it. So now I'll still go ahead and fold over 1/2 inch and overlap it at where the first drape ends. So you can see I've covered it up so you won't see where the first drape ends. Okay. So I'll make sure to pin at that point and then gather it and pin it to where the 8 inches ends. So you can see that you want to make sure that you pin it to where the 8 inches ends and then you go ahead and gather it to fit into that 8 inches. So this is where my second notch is. So I'm going to also fold in 1/2 inch there. You don't want to leave the rough part of your fabric outside. So I'll fold it in and pin it down too. So you can see. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and create my drapes. Drag it well and let it sit well. Can you see that? So you can see that I'm forming my drapes. So you can see how everything is sitting all beautiful and nice already. So I just want to make sure that you pin every point. So I already like what I am seeing and I hope you like it too. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please kindly hit on the subscribe button to subscribe and also make sure to put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. So I'm going ahead to trim out my excess. Okay, so I've cut out the excess. So now we want to gently remove our pins because we'll need to take this to a sewing machine to sew it down. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing my pins from the mannequin and pinning only the fabrics together so that we can take it to our sewing machine to sew. So you can see once you take off the first your pin, you pin the two fabrics together. So this is me just going ahead to arrange it well. You want to make sure that this is well arranged. So I'll gently take off the pin and pin the fabrics together. This is me separating it from the mannequin right now. So you want to just make sure to do this gently. You take off your pins and pin the main fabric together. So take note that the first pin that I used to pin the mannequin and the fabric together, I've not removed that one. So I'm removing this. I started from the second one. You want to still leave the first one there so that it doesn't just start falling. Okay? So you want to just do that carefully. So once I'm done with this side, I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. Then before I'll go ahead, I remove the last pin, which is the very first pin holding it to the waistline. So as you can see, I'm done removing the pins on this side. That's on the shorter side. This is what we have already. So you can see. So I'm going to also remove the first pin I have here on the waistline now. And then I'll also remove the pins holding it on the twisted part. You can see that my pins are still there. So I'm just going to remove them gently and then I'll stitch both sides together and then show us what we have. All right, so here we are. Our drapes came out so beautiful. The final outcome is giving everything it should give. So I hope you like this too because I really love it. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did enjoy watching this video, please like this video, share this video with your friends, and please also do not forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure to put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.